Dragon Age Veilguard, high level combat parts 1 through 4. Now, if you don't know, I've been pretty critical of what I feel about Dragon Age Veilguard so far. I think that this is not Dragon Age. It is a completely different game with the skin of Dragon Age. I think that the combat looks way oversimplified for a game that was supposed to be a strategy, you know, real-time, pausable strategy. So let's see. For your convenience, we've edited this 4-part series into a single standalone video. Thank you. Prepare for battle. This is an introduction to high-level combat. Footage has been edited for brevity and to avoid major spoilers. Okay. Okay, some shit's under attack. Let's get your warrior ready for battle. Okay, abilities and runes. Wait, hold on. I only have a helmet, armor, and belt. Like, I have no boots, I have no gloves. Okay. What is generic? What are these generic numbers too? Like what's the attack and shield? Why does this just feel so like mobile? Where's the complexity? Okay, assign abilities and an ultimate. Fine. Whatever. I like the videos. More games need to do that. Equip runes to enhance your power set and access unique abilities when activated. Okay. Lose all rage and heal for an equivalent amount. Okay, so like these are like small changes. They don't. All enemies within 10 meters are frozen? I assume that you have to activate that, right? Like it's not permanent. It does say active, right? Yeah, so you have to activate them. Okay. I see. So woman, you're out. Okay, so there is a skill tree. There are specializations. Each combat class has an array of specializations to choose from. Your rook has chosen the champion branch, which favors... Okay, so there's subclasses, essentially. So you have access, I guess, to base skills that are for any warrior. And then you have subclasses which have their own skills. And I assume you can only choose one. There's passives. It's PoE, essentially. Although I don't know why they needed to make it PoE. We'll be doing a deep dive later, okay. Okay, so... Stagger, takedown damage. It's just generic abilities and stuff. I'm kind of getting tired of this. I don't know about you guys, but... The randomized loot... It just gets a little tiring when there's no changes to it. It feels like I could find this exact system or equipment in 1 out of like 50 games. It's exactly the same. You have helmet, it has a defense, and it has attributes. And those attributes slightly augment your gameplay. It's just a little tiring. It's not an issue with this game, but just an issue with games in general. It's just PoE. It's just Diablo. Which again, I don't mind. I love ARPGs. I just don't think this needed to have been made into an ARPG. It doesn't feel like the same game, you know? Okay, I'm not reading these as much as I should be. Selected companions can aid work by equipping complementary gear and passives. Okay, so you can at least outfit your companions. You can adjust their skills as well. Okay, so this is like Mass Effect. Basically, you get to choose 2 companions that you get to bring with you. Alright. No, resistance by the Darkspawn, blighted creatures. Okay, they attack some shit. Okay, we have Dragon in the Dragon Age game. Okay, assessing the battlefield. First, learn the enemy types to strategically exploit their weaknesses. Darkspawn are vulnerable to fire. You will also see that they are resistant to necrosis. Yeah. Those are joined by Hurlock Spikers, ranged combatants who are vulnerable to fire. I mean, they're all vulnerable to fire. They're literally they all have the same resistances and vulnerabilities here. That's fine. The effects are nice, at least, I think. But it's very vibrant. It's very colorful. The same way that Inquisition kind of was at some points. No, it doesn't look bad. It looks better than it did when they first showed it. I'll say that. It's just so safe. It's so safe. It is just an ARPG. The combat overview, being able to control your companions, having to set custom AI, pretty much all that strategy layer is gone. Probably because the market has changed, right? That the new players of Dragon Age don't want that. They aren't the 40-year-old dudes who, love their old strategy games anymore. It's now 20-year-olds who want to have sex with alien races and click a few buttons to kill enemies. We all know that's true. And I think, honestly, I think that does a disservice to the players of these games. I mean, look at how normie Baldur's Gate 3 is. Baldur's Gate 3 is incredibly normie. That game is meant for the average audience member. But that game is still more complex. Like, there's strategy to Baldur's Gate 3 combat, for sure. 100%. I think players can handle a lot more than game designers sometimes give them credit for. It's you hear one complaint and you're like, oh no, a player is complaining. Like, just give them time. Give them time to learn. Give them the tools to learn. And make it rewarding to learn. Okay? Let some of the complaints go. Just say, okay, keep playing, keep playing. You don't need to fix a game every time that there's a complaint. I didn't hear anything other than sex I'm in. This kind of feels like, this feels kind of like God of War. Like the new one. Although God of War, interestingly, God of War took what was a hack and slash and made it a little bit less hack and slash. And this is taking something that was more strategic and making it more hack and slash. But they're both kind of ending up to be the same thing. Oh, finisher, of course, okay. Alright, buffs, debuffs, crowd control. Okay, let's see it. That was unnecessary, but okay. You didn't even kill them. They're talking about like buffs, debuffs, and crowd control, and all I've seen is that the player is getting crowd controlled right now. With some AoE. The hack, you know, if we accept that this game has been turned into a hack and slash, the mechanics of that are fine. They're professionally made, they're well made. I don't really have any complaints if we accept that this game has been turned into a hack and slash. I just maybe didn't want this to become more like Mass Effect, because I like Mass Effect, but I like Dragon Age for what it was too. This doesn't speak to me as a Dragon Age fan anymore. Primers, detonators, and ultimates, okay. Okay, I mean, sure, I like that they're putting primers and detonators in the game. I am. Those are nice for synergies. Doesn't mention that something is primer, though. Command Davern to taunt to gather nearby enemies. Okay. So they're taunted. Pulls your target toward you, but it doesn't really... Where's the primer here? Activate the crystallized rune to freeze the gathered group in place. Okay. Dude, we can't see the tooltip is off the screen. How have they not fixed this yet? I can't read what it does because Lucanus can use Eviscerate to detonate the combo and strike the whole group. Well, I don't see that because it... Well, okay, I do see that it detonates, but I can't even read what it does because it's off screen. It's because I think they moved the whole thing to the right. Like, they moved all the gameplay to the right to make space for this. More of an editing problem. So it's not, that's not the game, that's an editing problem. Now that I saw that. Okay. You know, I'll say this. I think it's better than the combat in Dragon Age Inquisition. 100%. Inquisition tried to dumb down what Dragon Age used to be, which just made it unenjoyable. This is trying to do something different with its action combat that I think is fine. This is much better than the gameplay they showed initially. Only played DA2. I just miss what Dragon Age used to be, I guess. I liked being able to customize the AI to more minutely control, like micromanage my companions, and to control them when I needed to. That was more like old school RPG, right? A classic RPG. This is full-on ARPG at this point. Typical toxic boss. And you know, some of this I will say is being done because it's... You have to play these games on a controller, right? And if you want a controller to feel good when playing your game, it's really, really hard. You have to go over a massive threshold of amount of time spent making a good user experience for action RPG games like this. And if you don't do that, it's going to feel shitty to play an ARPG on a controller. So the conversely, you just make the game a bit simpler. You only allow the player to have like 3 abilities, right, in this case, because then you can map them to buttons like they have here. It doesn't look bad for what it is. I just don't think that it is Dragon Age anymore to me. This has been edited to avoid spoilers. Also, BioWare, they mentioned exactly what the quest is. Yeah, they did do that. I mean, yes, people seem to like it. Auto loot. I didn't notice that there was auto loot, but that is nice. More games need that too. Although I don't like that for equipment in an RPG. Auto loot like currency, fine. Auto loot equipment, nah, man. Unless I can filter which equipment gets auto looted. Are they deleting bad comments though? No, they're not. Okay. I think there's a slight disconnect from the team who understands what would be considered a spoiler. Oh no, that's pretty much just about spoilers. You're learning to clip. Having already gone through the mourning period for the Dragon Age series to return to the origin style, for what BioWare is aiming for here, this actually looks pretty decent. Agree. I agree. With the recent trailer in this showcase, I can genuinely say I'm starting to feel more excited now. If you ignore the combat style, this has more origins and themes and story than the other games. The whole game design finding help from different factions to fight against the evil, mission-based level with some explorable half locations. That's very Dragon Age Origins, that's true. I think for me, when I look at some of this, though, it still looks a bit too... I'm not really a fan of all the colors. Some things are just a bit too vibrant when it comes to, like, the effects. Too fairy, I get what you mean. What about Dustborn? I've learned how to cancel chat. I think if their original goal was the original fans of Origins, like the people who want that combat back, are not the primary market anymore. So let's make a new Dragon Age game that goes into ARPG style, but mixes it with some of Mass Effect storytelling because I don't know what the reasoning for that was. I think that they have succeeded. I might still play it, but I'm not gonna end it. I'm not gonna stop being sad about what Dragon Age used to be because I've gone back to Dragon Age Origins. I've tried it, again just to see like, hey, is this combat still fun? And yeah, I still find enjoyability with Dragon Age Origins combat. But it doesn't mean that I don't like this style of gameplay either. It just is gonna feel like a different game, right? I don't know. It's two very different genres that are supposed to be continuations of the same game with the same style of combating as a hero character. I would say I'm still not a fan of the like what they've done with like the potions. Like you have just 3 potions that you can use, or getting rid of the hotbar, right? Being able to pick up potions, mana potions, handle them in the CRPG style way where you can run out of those and you need to buy more, you need to make more with alchemy. Those are gamifications that I'm not really a fan of. Or simplifications, I think is a better way to put it. Simplifications of mechanics, like dealing with potions, dealing with inventory. I still like those when I play old school RPGs. I say old school, but it's like Baldur's Gate 3 had this, right? And that just came out. Maybe that's where a lot of my problems come from. Is that when I play this, I'm getting a feeling that I am playing this just modern ARPG meant for a modern audience. And the parts of me that maybe are a bit older or want a bit more complexity and depth, inventory management, um, sharing health potions between characters, preparing for a fight like that, it feels to be lost. Now you're just going to go into a fight, use your combos, switch a skill maybe if something is vulnerable to it. And that's about it. That's about all you can really expect. What can I say? What can I say? It looks serviceable. It's just a different type of game than I was really kind of wanting, I guess. Mass Effect and Trespasser. I don't know Trespasser. Monsters look a bit goofy instead of scary. There is some of that too. Yeah, I think there's a big tonal shift between the art direction in modern Dragon Age compared to the original Dragon Age games. Especially with just the brightness of things. You just see it here. There's like bright blue, bright pink, bright yellow, bright green, bright orange. And it really contrasts in a kind of distracting way from, if you remove all those bright things, you have this dark, gloomy, foggy background with silhouettes of buildings in the background. You have the blues, the grays, the blacks of the monsters and such. Sometimes with that red to signify that they're evil, of course, right? The bright colors really contrast from that in a distracting way. And that's something that I don't enjoy. And I hope that if this game is moddable, that there is a mod that changes the coloring of like the UI icons, maybe the waypoint in some way, and some of the effect colorings. If you go back and you play like Dragon Age Origins, I think that the combat was a lot more consistent with its coloring. Wait, where's some combat here? But I mean, even on the UI, you have some of these like muted colors on the icons. And anytime that they use bright colors, it's usually done to signify something specific. Like bright green, these are buffs. The bright red, the bright yellow, this is to quickly track stamina, health, or mana, right? I need some actual fighting here.
And
every place I click, there's no combat.
dubbed. A revered father, huh?
And it's like, yeah, again here, bright colors where? To indicate enemy positioning, enemy health, and other things about that enemy. Nothing else. It just feels, I guess, a bit more consistent, like the art style is more grounded. And if we compare that to modern Dragon Age, which I closed wonderfully, thank you. Where is it? I need that side by side, you know? If we compare these side to side, I think that they've done a really good job with having those gloomy backgrounds, at least here where it's kind of similar, right, between like a dungeon and this infested area. Good. What's not so great is that the particle effects and the UI is a bit too bright and contrasting with what I would want to be a little bit more in line with the game's theming. And it doesn't feel like that. Just a nitpick at this point, you know, maybe some people don't agree with that, but that's kind of how I feel, so. Either way, I don't have anything more to add to this. I think that it looks better than what they originally showed, but I think I prefer... I'm not really a fan of some of the art style stuff to it, and I miss the old school way of handling combat, so. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching that, and catch you on the next one. Bye-bye, guys.